What's up, everybody? It's JT Sports, and back to you guys with another video. This video I'm here with my Minnesota versus Iowa college football week 12 preview and prediction. I'm going to be previewing this matchup and get my prediction of who will win this game. And before I begin, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, upload NFL videos and college football videos daily. Also, make sure to hit the notification button, which is the bell icon right next to the subscribe button. It'll let you every time I upload a new video so you don't miss a new upload. Now, in this video, we have undefeated Minnesota, who is 9-0 in the season, coming off of a very big win for the program last week versus Penn State. And they're ranked number 7th in the nation according to the AP Top 25 poll. And they have another tough road test. Well, this is their first road test of the season versus a big opponent, Iowa. They're ranked number 23 in the nation, and they are 6-3 on the season, coming off of a very close loss versus Wisconsin. And this is Minnesota's first true road test, in my opinion, because it's very, very hard to win at Iowa. Now, I think this game is going to be a lot tougher for Minnesota than what last week was versus Penn State. And the reason why is because Minnesota, they're coming off of a very emotional win, a program-defining win. They have put the college football landscape on notice. And when you look at a lot of the teams that get big wins like that, the following game, most of those teams that end up getting those big program-defining wins, most of the time they end up losing. I've seen it in all my years watching college football. It happens a lot. So Minnesota has to come into this game focus. They have to get that Penn State win out of their head. They have to focus on this game, because although Iowa isn't as talented as Penn State, talent-wise, this Iowa team, which is why I think this game is going to be closer, because Iowa's a better team defensively than what Penn State is. Last week, I felt Minnesota had a good chance to be in Penn State because Penn State had a hole in their defense, which was their secondary, and I thought Minnesota was going to be able to take advantage of that, which Minnesota did. Turner Morgan had a very good day passing the football, and these Minnesota wide receivers had a lot of success. But Iowa, their defense doesn't have a lot of holes. Now, when you look at Iowa's defense, they're pretty much top 20, top 15 in almost every category on the defensive side of the ball possible. When you look at passing yards per game allowed, the top 10 in that department. Rushing yards per game allowed, I believe that they're top 20. So this is a very good defensive team in Iowa, and they don't have a lot of holes. Now, the reason why Iowa's defense isn't as good as it should be, this probably should be the best defense in all of college football. But the reason why Iowa's defense isn't one of the best and, well, isn't as good as it should be is because the offense of Iowa. The offense of Iowa is very lackluster, and they're not able to sustain drives, and they don't really have a lot of big plays as well. So the defense ends up having to come back onto the field a lot more times than not, and since they're on the field so much, they end up getting gassed, they end up getting tired, and that's why Iowa's defense isn't as good as it should be. Now, if Iowa's offense was just a little bit more better, this would be probably the best defense in all of college football. And this is why I think this is going to be a very tough task for Minnesota, because this is a better team defensively than Penn State. And also, this is going to be at Iowa. It's very tough to win on the road at Iowa, especially in this time of the year. In November, December, it gets very, very tough to win at Iowa. So this is going to be a very tough game for Minnesota, and this is going to be a very physical game as well. Iowa's a very physical football team, and I really want to see this Minnesota Gophers offensive line versus this Iowa Hawkeyes defensive line. Now, although Minnesota has the biggest offensive line that I ever seen out of a college football team, I believe that their offensive line has an average weight of 340 pounds, which is more than the Minnesota Vikings offensive line. So this is going to be a very, very physical team for Minnesota. This probably will be the most physical team that Minnesota will face all this season. So, I mean, Minnesota, this is going to be a very tough task, not just because of how good Iowa is defensively, but they're also going to be on the road. And also, you're coming off of a very emotional victory versus Penn State. And if you go back and look at a lot of teams that had very big wins, the week following, most of those teams end up losing. So, I mean, Minnesota, this team is going to have to be emotionally ready, because this is going to be a very physical game. It's going to be very tough. And I think this game is going to be very close. And I mean, this game is going to be on the road as well. Iowa. It's going to be loud. I mean, the fans are going to show up. It's probably going to be sold out. So this is going to be a very tough game for Minnesota. And I think this game is going to be a lot closer than the Penn State game. And here's why. Now, although Iowa isn't as good as Penn State is offensively, this is Iowa team that I've been talking about. I mean, this defense is very tough. It's very scrappy. And this is a very physical Iowa team on both sides of the football. So I think this game is going to end up being very, very close. I think this game could end up going down to the wire last 2 minutes, man. So, I mean, this game is going to be very, very close. Now, if Minnesota gets out to a big lead early and they're up 21-0, something like that, this game is over for Iowa because Iowa's offense isn't built to come back from large deficits, especially that early. So if Minnesota gets up big early, then I think the game is basically going to be over for Iowa because this is an Iowa team that isn't really equipped offensively to come back from big, large deficits. Now, if Iowa is able to keep this game close and to the full quarter, then this game could end up going either way. So Minnesota gets out to a big lead, and I think the game is going to be over. But if I was able to get this thing into the full quarter, then they can end up winning this game. And we've seen Iowa. When you out of all teams in college football, you don't want to go into the game in a close game with Iowa. Because Iowa most of the time ends up winning those close games. Now, they ended up getting down a little bit to Wisconsin. They ended up fighting back in that game. I thought Wisconsin was going to end up blowing out Iowa, but Iowa was able to find a way to muster some offense and get back into the game. And now, for Iowa, Iowa's offense is going to have to be able to do something in this game. This offense can't have a slow start like what they had versus Wisconsin. And also, this is a very good defense in Minnesota. I mean, Minnesota, they're good stop the run, but they're probably the best defense, in my opinion, in stopping the pass. I mean, this guy, Antoine Whitefield, this guy is one of the best cornerbacks I ever seen in all of my life watching college football. He's not even a cornerback. He's a defensive back. He plays almost everything. He's good in man-to-man coverage. This dude can do anything you ask him to do, man. So, this dude, Antoine Whitefield, man, he's playing like an All-American. He's definitely a guy who Iowa needs to keep their eyes on because this is one of the best defensive backs and all of college football. He's probably one of the best defensive backs I've seen in a very, very long time, coming from a program like a Minnesota that's came out of nowhere. And I've seen a lot of good defensive backs, but this guy can do it all. So he's definitely a guy who I was going to have to keep their eyes on. Now, when we look at my keys to victory, what both of these teams can be able to do and able to win this game, for Minnesota, man, they're going to have to be able to stop the run. Now, Iowa, this is a team that likes to run the football, and they're not really good at passing the football. And since Minnesota is one of the best passing defenses, has one of the best secondaries in all of college football, I think Iowa will be smart enough not to try to throw the football that much and try to establish the run game. Now, if the run game doesn't get going, then Iowa is going to be in a lot of trouble because this is an Iowa team that doesn't really have wide receivers on the outside that can create a lot of separation and that can have a lot of big plays in the passing game. And this Iowa offense is similar to Wisconsin's offense. Is you stop the run and make them have to throw the football, passing the ball, then this is an Iowa team that's going to get into a lot of trouble. And although Nathan Stanley is a good quarterback, they don't really have the personnel around him, the wide receivers and skill position around him that can really make this Iowa passing attack really much of a threat. So if Minnesota is able to stop the run, then I think they have a very, very good chance to win this game. And also Minnesota has to limit turnovers as well. When you look at a team like Iowa, what's going to keep Iowa in this game is the turnovers. So if Iowa was able to get their hands on a couple of turnovers and get into good field position, then I think that's going to be something that can end up favoring Iowa. So if you're Minnesota, you're going to have to limit turnovers. You don't want Iowa. Iowa's a very scrappy football team, and you don't want Iowa getting any extra possessions. So the next thing that they need to do to win this game, Tanner Morgan has to have another big game. And this is an Iowa defense that is better than Penn State defensively because they're balanced. They can stop the run, and they're good at stopping the pass as well. They're one of the better passing defenses in college football. So Tanner Morgan's going to have another big game, and he's going to have to carry the load for this Minnesota Gophers offense. And I know Minnesota's going to have some success running the football, but I think passing the football is going to be very big for Minnesota. And Tanner Morgan's going to have another performance, because this is a very good defense in Iowa. They basically have no holes. So what Iowa has to be able to do to win this game is they're going to have to get pressure on Tanner Morgan. Now, this offensive line is very good in pass protection as well as run blocking as well. But when Penn State was able to get pressure on Tanner Morgan in the second half, that's when we started to see that Minnesota Gophers offense kind of fizzle out in the second half, because of how this Minnesota Gophers offense is set up. They have wide receivers who can take it to the house and score a touchdown at any point in the game. And this is a wide receiving core. This is a pass attack that's averaging over 12 yards per completion. So if you're Iowa, if you're able to get pressure on Tanner Morgan and you're not able to let these wide receivers get those deep, big passing routes down the field, and you're not allowing Tanner Morgan to drop back and let those deep passing routes develop and those big passing plays down the field develop, then they have a good chance of winning this game. And that's what Penn State was able to do in the second half when they were able to get pressure on Tanner Morgan. That's why Penn State was able to get back into the game in the second half of the ball game in that game. So Iowa's going to have to be able to get pressure on Tanner Morgan. And the last thing Iowa has to be able to do to win this game is they're going to have to run the ball, and they're going to have success run the football effectively, because I don't think Iowa wants to try to win this game throwing the football, because that's not a good recipe for success. And if it's a better way to attack this Minnesota Gophers defense, I think it probably would be running the football, because listen, I know this Minnesota Gophers team, this is one of the best defenses all around in the nation, in my opinion. And not only can they stop the run, but they can stop the pass as well. But I think this is a better Minnesota Gophers team when you look at their defense. I think their defense is better stopping the pass than it is stopping the run. So I think the weak point is running the football and trying to get them to try to stop the run. So although Minnesota is pretty good stop the run as well, I think Iowa has a better chance trying to win this game running the football than they do passing the football. Because if Iowa has to win this game throwing the football on this Minnesota Gophers secondary, then they have absolutely no chance of winning this game. So I think their best chance of winning this game is if they're able to have success running the football. You also control time possession as well. You keep Minnesota's offense off the field, and you keep your defense on the sideline. You keep your defense well rested, and that's a big reason why Iowa's defense hasn't been as good as it should be, because this defense has to keep on coming back on the field and whatnot, because the Iowa offense isn't able to sustain drive. So if they're able to run the football, control time possession, then I think they have a good chance of winning this game. So the team that I'm going with to win this game, I'm going to take Minnesota to win this game. I think Minnesota wins this game 20-10 is going to be my final score prediction. I think this game is going to be very close just because of how good Iowa is defensively, and Iowa's a better football team on the defensive side of the ball than Penn State. So I think this game is going to be very close, but overall I think Minnesota ends up winning this game, because I think Minnesota is just a better team talent-wise, and I don't think Iowa's going to be able to score enough points to keep up with Minnesota. Although I think this game is going to be pretty low scoring, I just don't think Iowa's offense is going to be able to do enough to win this game, and that's why I'm going to take Minnesota to win this game 20-10. So let me know who you guys think ends up winning this game down in the comment section down below. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos and content and college football videos as well. And thanks for watching.